My dear friend, you've asked me to pour my heart out, so buckle in. I'll give you the whole truth as I've lived it, with all the colors, the laughter, the pain, the jokes that keep me alive, and the wisdom that only comes from reaching 80 and realizing how short the road ahead is. And remember, the topic today is a heavy one. While so many people don't live past 82, I'll share it all. Because if I can keep you and anyone listening from falling into the same traps I've seen others fall into, then these words are worth their weight in gold. Now let's pick up where we left off. I told you about curiosity, loneliness, falls, dehydration, food, purpose, and fear. But those are just the headlines. To really understand why so many people stop at 82, you need the stories, the flesh behind the bones. And oh my dear, I've got stories. Let me start with curiosity again. You know why I harp on it so much? Because curiosity is the fuel for the soul. The people who stop learning are the people who start dying. I remember when my cousin Ed retired at 65. He had plans, big plans, travel, fishing, painting. But then he bought one of those big recliner chairs, and that chair became his world. TV, snacks, naps. I've worked hard all my life, Paul, he told me. Now I'm just going to relax. Relax he did. So much so that by 72, his body had turned to mush. His legs were weak, his back scooped, his mind was foggy. And by 76, he was gone. Not from any terrible disease, from apathy, from giving up the chase. Contrast that with my friend Betty. At 75, she decided to learn Spanish. I laughed when she told me, "Betty, what are you going to do, move to Mexico?" But she said, "No, Paul, I'm going to use my brain." She joined a class, made new friends, traveled to Spain once at 78, and by 83, she was still learning new words every day. Betty's now 87, still sharp as a tack, still curious about life. The difference between Ed and Betty wasn't luck, it was curiosity. One gave up, the other kept exploring. That, my friend, is the difference between dying at 76 and thriving at 87. Now let's swing back to loneliness. I can't stress this enough. Loneliness kills. It gnaws at you from the inside out. I once read somewhere that loneliness is as dangerous as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And let me tell you, I believe it. My own brother, Tom, died at 81, not from a disease, but from isolation. He lost his wife, his kids lived far away, and he refused to reach out. I used to call him and say, "Tom, come on over, let's play cards, let's have a drink." He always had an excuse. "Next week, Paul." But next week didn't always come. By the time I got the call, it was too late. He'd slipped away alone. And that's the part that still haunts me. He didn't have to. He had me. He had neighbors. But pride or habit or something kept him from reaching out. And loneliness doesn't wait for an invitation. It just walks right in and sits at your table. That's why I tell you, don't ever think you're burdening someone by reaching out. Don't wait until you're too lonely to move. Connection isn't a luxury, it's survival. Every phone call, every laugh with a friend, every silly story told over coffee, those aren't just moments, they're lifelines. Now, let's talk about falls again, because I need to hammer this into you. At our age, gravity is not our friend. You laugh at me when I shuffle around my house in slippers with grips on the bottom, but let me tell you something. Those slippers are my armor. I'm not about to let a slippery floor send me to the emergency room. My friend Martha, sprightly woman, 79 years old, fell in her bathroom one night. No one found her until the morning. That fall didn't just break her hip, it broke her spirit. She was independent, proud, living on her own. After that fall, she needed a walker, then a nurse, well, she didn't last long. Falls don't just take your bones, they take your freedom, and freedom is life. So what do? I walk every day, rain or shine, I walk. I stretch, I bend, I wobble like a clown sometimes, but I keep moving. I even tried yoga once, My knees nearly filed for divorce, but I survived. The point is, strength and balance are not optional after 70. They're survival tools. If you can't get up off the floor without help, you're in trouble. Practice it now. Trust me, it's more important than binge watching any TV series. Now here's a sneaky one. Dehydration. Most older folks don't even realize they're dehydrated half the time. I didn't either until I started feeling dizzy every morning. My doctor asked me how much water I drink. I said, "Does coffee count?" He gave me a look that could curdle milk. "Paul," he said, "you're running on empty." So now I drink water like it's my job. I joke with my grandkids that I should get gills. And you know what? I feel better. My skin isn't as dry, my headaches are fewer, and I don't get those dizzy spells anymore. Dehydration is a silent thief. Don't let it sneak up on you. Now, let's shift gears to food, because this one's close to my heart, or maybe my stomach. Either way, food keeps you alive, or it kills you. Too many older folks think, "Oh, I'm not hungry, I'll just have some toast." Wrong. Your muscles need protein more than ever as you age. Without it, you wither. I've seen strong men turn frail because they stopped eating meat, beans, eggs, or whatever gave them strength. And sugar. Oh, don't get me started on sugar. Sweet, sweet poison. I used to eat donuts like they were vitamins. Then one day my blood sugar spiked so high the nurse looked at me like I was a walking candy cane. That was my wake-up call. Now I eat more veggies, more protein, less junk. And you know what? I feel stronger. I may not look like I did at 30, but I'm still carrying my groceries, still mowing my lawn, still living. Food is fuel, my dear. Choose it wisely. Now, let's circle back to purpose, because this one is the cornerstone. Without purpose, you drift, and drifting is dangerous. I've seen retirees with nothing to do, no hobbies, no goals, no plans, and they fade like a photograph left in the sun. Purpose doesn't have to be grand. You don't need to save the world. You just need something that gives your days meaning. For me, it's telling stories, baking pies, fishing with the kids, calling my neighbors, and now talking to you. This right here, this conversation, this is my purpose. And let me tell you, purpose keeps the heart beating. Without it, even the healthiest body gives up. Here's another hook for you. Denial. Denial kills. Those little warning signs, chest pain, dizziness, fatigue, they're not annoyances, they're alarms. Too many folks ignore them until it's too late. My friend Carl laughed off his chest pain, said it was indigestion. One day he dropped dead in his driveway. Don't be Carl. Listen to your body. It whispers before it screams. And while we're here, let me take a moment. If you're listening, nodding, maybe even laughing, maybe even tearing up, then we've connected. And since we have, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Leave a comment with your own thoughts or stories. And subscribe to this channel. Not for me, not for fame, but because we need this community. We need to share, to laugh, to cry, to learn. That's how we fight loneliness. That's how we live longer. So go ahead, click those buttons. Let's keep this circle alive. Now, fear. Fear shrinks lives. I've seen it. People afraid to travel, afraid to try technology, afraid to meet new people. They lock themselves into smaller and smaller worlds until there's nothing left. I refuse to let fear rule me. At 78, I tried virtual reality. Nearly fell on my face, but I laughed so hard I felt 30 again. Fear tells you, stay safe. Life whispers, stay alive. There's a difference. Don't confuse the two. Now let me share something personal now. When I turned 80, I couldn't shake the thought of 82. So many friends gone at that age. I lay awake at night listening to the clock tick, wondering if I was borrowed time. Fear crept in, whispering, "You're next." But then one morning, as sunlight poured through my window, I realized something. Fear doesn't prevent death. It only prevents life. So I made a choice. Instead of counting down the years I might not have, I'd celebrate the days I do have. Every sunrise, every laugh, every hug, I treasure them like jewels. That shift, my dear, has given me more strength than any medicine. It's why I'm still here talking to you now. And now, let me tell you about the things no one talks about, the hidden reasons people don't make it past 82.
Now, where was I? Yes. We were talking about why so many elderly folks may not make it much past 82. You know, the truth is, it isn't just the body that gives out. Sometimes it's the spirit that checks out early. And I want to dig deeper into this with you, because this isn't just about statistics, it's about life itself. And I promise, I'll mix in enough laughs and stories to keep your mind wide awake. No snoozing allowed, not while I've got the mic. Let me tell you something that still rattles me when I think about it. My old neighbor, Gerald, bless his soul, was one of the sharpest men I knew. He had his books, his garden, his music. You'd think he'd make it well into his 90s. But one morning, he said to me, "Paul, I don't think I've got much left in me." And just like that, within the year, he was gone. His body hadn't quit first, his will had. That's something most people don't want to hear, but it's the truth. After 80, life isn't just about muscles and blood pressure, it's about having something to wake up for. Now let's circle back to that infamous number, 82. Why do so many elderly fade right there? Well, let's start with the obvious, health. By that age, most people have had some kind of run-in with heart trouble, diabetes, memory slips, arthritis, or something else that makes getting around a little harder. You've probably seen it too. People stop moving as much, and when you stop moving, your body starts planning its own retirement party. And trust me, it's not a fun one with balloons and cake. But here's the kicker. It isn't just physical. It's mental. It's emotional. It's social. Imagine being 82, still breathing, but all your closest friends have passed, your spouse might be gone, your children are busy with their own lives, the phone doesn't ring as often. That silence in the living room, it's heavier than any disease. Loneliness, my dear, is a killer, sometimes sharper than any heart attack. And this is where I want to plant a seed in your mind. Don't wait until 82 to start preparing for this part of life. Start now. Build your friendships like a garden. Water them. Keep them alive. Keep your purpose alive too. You want to know a big secret? The people who live longer, really longer, are the ones who never stop finding reasons to stick around. They keep projects. They keep laughing. They keep loving. Even if their knees sound like a bag of popcorn when they stand up. Oh, and let me tell you about laughter. It's not just medicine, it's survival. You know me, I'll joke about almost anything. Why? Because when you stop laughing, you start aging twice as fast. My daughter once told me, "Dad, you're 80 and still cracking jokes about your hair loss like you're a teenager." And I told her, "Well, sweetheart, hair may fall out, but humor sticks if you let it. If you're still laughing, you're still living. Remember that." Now, let's not get too grim here because I promised you some spice. Picture this. At 82, your doctor tells you, eat less salt. So what do most old folks do? They throw out their salt shaker, eat bland soup, and wonder why life suddenly tastes as empty as their seasoning rack. Nonsense. Flavor your food. Flavor your life. You can watch your health without making every meal taste like wet cardboard. I'm convinced some folks die earlier not because of illness, because their dinner tasted too boring to fight for another bite. Now here's a big one. Mobility. When people stop walking, when they let themselves sit too long, it's like signing a slow goodbye card. Every step counts, even if it's a shuffle to the porch and back. I've seen seniors who hit 90 because they refuse to stay seated too long. Me? I still take walks, even if I look like a turtle compared to the kids jogging past me. The point is movement, not speed. You stop moving, you stop living. It's that simple. You still with me, friend? Good. because this is where I need to drop a truth bomb. Too many people treat 80 like an ending instead of a checkpoint. They say, well, I've made it this far, guess it's time to slow down. Wrong! That's like driving to the top of a hill just to hit the brakes and roll backwards. If anything, 80 is the time to slam the gas, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You may not sprint anymore, but you sure can dance with life if you choose. Speaking of dancing, have I ever told you about the time I tried salsa at 78? Oh, don't laugh. I thought it'd be a good idea, impress the ladies at the senior center. Let me just say, hips don't lie, but they do creak. The teacher told me to swing left, and my knees voted no. But you know what? I laughed so hard, so did everyone else. That night, I didn't just feel alive, I felt 20 years younger. That's the kind of energy that pushes people past 82. Now, let's take a breath here because I can feel your attention hanging on every word. And if you're enjoying this little heart-to-heart, do me a favor, hit that like button, drop a comment below about your own dreams for your later years, and of course, subscribe to the channel. Trust me, the more we share these stories, the more we all get to live a little longer, a little stronger. Don't just watch, join in. All right, let's dive back in. Another big factor in why so many don't make it past 82 is plain old denial. People ignore warning signs. They skip doctor visits. They say, it's just a little ache, until it turns into something bigger. Pride is a silent killer. I'll admit, even I used to think, I'm tough, I don't need a checkup. Well, guess what? The tough ones are the ones doctors end up shaking their heads over. Don't play tough, play smart. And here's something funny. Did you know some folks stop learning after retirement? They think learning's only for the young. Absolute nonsense. The brain's a muscle. You don't use it, it shrinks like an old sweater in the dryer. You want to beat the 82 curse? Keep learning. Read, write, do crosswords, argue with the TV if you want, but keep that mind sharp. I'm learning Spanish, can you believe that? At 80. Sure, half the time I mix it with English and end up ordering dos hamburgers con mucho ketchup, but hey, I'm trying. And another reason folks give up before 82 is regrets. They look back on life and see what they didn't do instead of what they did. That regret weighs heavier than any disease. I always tell people, write your regrets down, then burn the paper. Poof, gone. Focus on today, not yesterday, because yesterday isn't coming back no matter how much you beg. Now, let me give you a spark of hope. You know who often lives past 82? People who nurture joy, real joy, not fake smiles, not forced conversations. I mean that glow you get when you're truly doing something you love. For me, it's telling stories like this. For you, maybe it's painting, gardening, spoiling grandkids, or binge-watching those cheesy dramas. Whatever it is, hold it close, because joy fuels years the way gasoline fuels a car. Oh, and don't even get me started on gratitude. That's the secret sauce. People who live long often wake up saying thank you before they even stretch their legs. Doesn't matter if their knees ache or their back cracks or their dentures don't fit right. Gratitude sets the tone. I tried it myself, and I'll tell you, it works. I used to grumble about my stiff joints every morning. Then I started saying, well, at least they're still moving. Suddenly, the day didn't feel so heavy. And here's a hook for you. Do you want to know the biggest difference between people who make it past 82 and those who don't? It's not medicine, it's not luck, it's not genetics, it's mindset. That's it. If you believe life still has chapters left to write, you'll keep turning the pages. But if you decide the book is done, well, the story ends sooner than it has to. So, my dear, don't let 82 scare you. Treat it like a mile marker, not a finish line. Prepare now. Laugh more, move more, love more, complain less. That's the recipe. I've seen it. I've lived it. And I'm telling you, you've got plenty more years if you want them.